Hi and welcome to Axtreme-Guitar. For this video I'm going to be going over the song Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis. And if we're going to be playing it in the key of the song, then we're going to be placing a capo on the 2nd fret here. It's going to be in standard tuning, but we're going to be using common chord placements. So like C, G, A minor, we have B7, A7, and a D minor. And then I do use some bar chords because, well, for one instance, F is really the best way to do it is this way in this song because I like the bass note in it. But you can get away with doing it either this way or as an F major 7. It's going to have a different sound, but you can still get that F in there, F major 7. And in one situation too, I'm using bar for F, G, and A minor, and then back to F. Just because it's convenient going from F, G, A minor back to F. And that's the way it occurs in the song, as you'll very soon see. So the way that I have come across this song is just a real simple way of sitting down and playing it, and I like to use finger picking because it's the closest to the way that they do it in the song anyway, with the arpeggiating of the chords. So anytime that I come to finger picking, even if it's the most basic, nothing particularly complex, is, in this case I'm starting on the C, and my thumb is going to be on the A string, which is a C because I'm fretting the 3rd fret under the capo. Technically it's not a C, but let's just forget that we're using a capo on the 2nd fret. Just assume that this is the open string where the capo is on the 2nd fret, and we're just going to call everything C, G, and so on. So I'm playing a C on the 3rd fret with my thumb, and then my pointer, middle, and ring, or fingers 1, 2, and 3, are on the bottom 3 strings. So that's the 1st string, 2nd, and 3rd. So we go in order: thumb, pointer, middle, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. And you're going up and down in pitch over and over on all of the chords. So in the very beginning they're going from C to a G back to C for 2 measures. Technically it's 3 because you get into the verse and you do another measure of it, but in the intro. So you notice too, if you're familiar with the G chord, sometimes I'll play it this way, other times you can play it this way with just one finger on the bottom. However, when I'm playing it in this song, I'm just going to move my ring finger up and my pinky down and remove these 2 fingers because I'm only finger picking the root note and then the bottom, that's a little loud too, bottom string. So I don't need to have any other fingers down, just top 2 strings, well, the top string and the bottom string, the E strings, on the 3rd frets, which are both Gs, and I'm picking these other 2 strings, the B and the G, which are 2nd and 3rd. But I'm just going to be picking those strings, so I don't have to worry about these other fingers. And it might be a bit of a stretch for you if you're not used to doing this, but you can get used to it. You can teach your hand to do that. If you don't want to, you can always just make the change. And that's fine too. I like to do it this way. It's the least movement. And then we get to the verse where we play, like I said, the C again for a measure, and each chord, I'll tell you each measure. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so most of the time there are 2 beats, except in certain occasions you might get 4 beats. So we have the very beginning of the verse, go, why say. So we have C for 2 beats, C, 1, 2, the E minor, 1, 2, then A minor for 4 this time, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to F, which you can either play as a full bar chord, you can try it this way. Actually, it could be pretty convenient playing it in this F major 7 style, if you don't mind. It doesn't sound like this, it has that F major 7, because all you're going to do when you're going from the F major 7 to the next chord, which is a C, is moving these 2 fingers up. So you have, and then from there we go to a G. So let's return back to what we were doing there, just to kind of watch some of the details. So some of the things that we have to look at is, most of the time we're hitting the A string with our thumb or the E string. So we have the C chord, which is the A string, then we have the E minor, E string, to A minor. F, if you're playing it as a bar chord, is the E string. Then you have the C, back to the A string, to the G, E string. So this is going to be a lot of dancing around with your thumb, going either the E string, the A string. In some cases, if you were going to do the F major 7 or the F that's not a bar chord, then you're still going to be hitting the same D string this time. So your root note is the 3rd fret of the D string. So I just switch between the full F to the F major 7. So hopefully that's not too confusing. So if we get to the second line in this, but I can't help falling in love with you, you can take it as the bar chord version that I was doing. So we have all E patterned bar chords, which just means that I'm playing like an E major shape, except down here I'll play an E minor shape, but it's still what we would call E patterned bar chords. And so we are hitting the E string with our thumb for the F, and then we go to 3rd fret G, then we go 5th fret A minor. Remove your middle finger, and it's just going to hang out there. And then we come right back to the F. And this time we shift to the C, and if you prefer to do your G this way, that's fine. And then you go back to the C for 2 measures, or 4 beats. And then we start the second verse. So we have 2 beats on that one. It's exactly the same as the first verse. 4 beats there. Then we have our F. And notice I just decided that I was going to do this with my G and put 2 fingers down there. It doesn't make a difference. You can do it. The 2 fingers on the bottom, you could put 1 finger on the bottom there. There's a lot of options that you have with this, and the chord inversions, what you could call them, or variations. So if we move forward then to the chorus of this song, it's going E minor for 2 beats to B7. Now, even though I'm not hitting the D string, I'm still fretting the D string just out of habit, and that's a good thing to get into, just so that when you move on to other songs, you don't forget to put it there. It's maybe redundant in a song like this because you're not using it, but what if you accidentally hit that string? Then you want it to at least be the correct note to hit. So I missed the root note there, but I hit the next note in the line. And it was a good one because I had my finger in place. So something to keep in mind. And this, I'm using the most basic form of the chord, or any of the chords really, but you can use other versions if you choose to. You just have to know where to use them. So you can always look up what is going to make the most sense for different chord variations, or however way you want to challenge yourself with the song. But back to the chorus, we're going E minor, just those outside strings, then I go to the B7. So my middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string, my pointer finger is on the 1st fret of the D string, then I have my ring finger on the G string 2nd fret, and then I skip a string and bring my pinky down to the bottom E string on the 2nd fret. And we're going back and forth on that 3 different times. E minor to B7, back to E minor to B7, E minor to B7, again E minor, A7. So that's also 2 beats, and this time, instead of going to the B7, which you might actually be happy about because it's not the easiest chord to get to when you're not familiar with it, but you can take these fingers, here I like to use my middle and ring finger, but you can use basically any other 2 fingers that you choose, but I'll use my ring and middle as I usually do, and I put my middle finger on the D string 2nd fret, and my ring finger on the B string 2nd fret, and I'm just similarly picking as I have been throughout the rest of this song, thumb, starting on the A string, and then the bottom 3 strings. And that's 2 beats, as I said, and next we're going to move to a D minor. So with a D minor, there's a slight change to this. You're going to put your ring finger down on the 3rd fret of that same B string that you're already on, and then drop your middle finger to the 3rd string from the bottom, which is the G string 2nd fret. So you only have to move from string 4 to string 3, and then my pointer finger will drop on string 1, very bottom, on the 1st fret. And now this time, I'm going to use my thumb on the D string because it's a D minor, that's my root note. And you might be thinking, oh crap, how do I get to that G much easier? Well, that's not so bad either. I kind of look at it as a way, you can psychologically tell yourself, all right, this isn't a big change. I'm going to drop my pinky down here, and I'm going to move these 2 fingers, which are already almost in the shape that they need to be, and then just over here. So I have my middle finger on the top E string 3rd fret, and I'll put my pointer finger on the 2nd from the top, or the A string on the 2nd fret of the A string, even though I'm not going to be hitting it, it's there. And then this usual finger picking pattern that I've been using with this. So if I fast forward what we're doing, the E minor to the B7, then I go E minor to A7. Oh, sorry, I messed up there. And then I go D minor to G. And that's the chorus. Now we'll do the chorus one more time in this song, but first we're going to go back to the verse. This is verse 3, and we'll perform it just as we did the other 2 times. And then after that verse, we're going to go right back to the chorus. Now E minor to A7, D minor, G. The very last verse is going to be exactly like all the other times that we hit the verse, except that we repeat the last line. So you do the slow it down in that last line there, but that's it. You just repeat that last line and then you're done with the song. So hopefully that's a helpful tutorial there, and just for your amusement, I'll include a little audio of me kind of getting carried away with the song myself. I did some guitar work and some vocals and harmonies and things. It was kind of fun, so I just couldn't help myself. So like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. If I can help falling in love with you, like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take